did Prime Minister Justin Trudeau break his government's own rules by visiting his family over the Easter long weekend? He sure did. But remarkably, many Canadians don't seem to believe it. When I posted this message on social media on Monday morning, it caused quite the stir, to say the least. Mainstream media journalists and partisan liberals on Twitter were quick to refute my claim, and many suggested that I was being unfair and that I was wrong. So let's set the record straight, shall we? What rules did Trudeau break? Well, first off, his background, Justin Trudeau has been staying alone at Rideau Cottage, which is a home on the property of 24 Sussex in Ottawa, since March 29th. That is when his wife, Sophie Trudeau, tested negative for coronavirus after previously having the disease. And that's when she and her 3 kids packed up and moved to Harrington Lake, Quebec, the official country residence of the Prime Minister. So, in order for Trudeau to travel to Quebec to his country residence to see his family and stay with his family, Trudeau broke the following rules. Number 1, he crossed a provincial boundary and entered Quebec. So, after telling Canadians not to travel, after telling Canadians to stay at home, Trudeau himself packed up his bags and headed for his country residence in rural Quebec. He crossed a provincial border into Quebec in order to do that, despite that border being closed. Gatineau police set up checkpoints on interprovincial roadways last Wednesday in an unprecedented effort to enforce the province's new ban on non-essential travel into Western Quebec. Now, sure, it's only about 35 kilometers between the 2 residents, but Trudeau had to cross a boundary that was closed to other Canadians. Gatineau police said checkpoints were set up at bridges, ferries, and major intersections, and that drivers could be fined up to $6,000 for trying to make non-essential trips. Trudeau and his motorcade were let right through, while other families trying to do the exact same thing were turned away. Number 2, Trudeau went to a cottage. Justin Trudeau's top public health official, Dr. Theresa Tam, has stressed on multiple occasions for Canadians not to travel to their cottage, cabin, camp, or rural home because of the potential strain on healthcare in smaller rural communities. This is a quote from Twitter from Dr. Theresa Tam. COVID time is not cottage time. Stay home and resist the urge to head to the cottage or rural setting. Don't add further strain on communities with less capacity to manage COVID-19. Do your part, flatten the curve, plank the curve. So Canadians, you can't go to your cottage. Justin Trudeau, go right ahead. Number 3, Trudeau visited family who don't live with him. Justin Trudeau has told us on many occasions that he lives in one household, Rideau Cottage, and that his family lives in another, Harrington Lake. But according to his government's own rules, they should have celebrated Easter digitally, through social media or through Skype or Zoom. Here are just a handful of the many examples of Trudeau government officials telling Canadians that they cannot visit family members living in other households. This CBC report specifically says, and I quote, "Physical distancing means not interacting with anyone outside of your household, including immediate family members and significant others who don't live with you," unquote. Here are just a handful more Trudeau officials telling Canadians not to do exactly what Justin Trudeau did. Dr. Theresa Tam. The choice of where to be, home, in your bubble, with existing household members only, has never been clearer. Again, Dr. Theresa Tam. Now is the critical time to maintain our physical distancing. This means having dinners and celebrating with household members only, and connecting with others virtually over phone, email, and video chat. Dr. Theresa Tam. Physical distancing and not being able to gather together is difficult. Thank you for celebrating virtually and at home with members of your household to slow the spread of coronavirus. Deputy Chief Public Health Officer, Dr. Howard New. Unfortunately, any religious celebrations this year will have to be strictly limited to your existing household members only. Dr. Theresa Tam. This means dinners and celebrations will need to be strictly limited to your existing household members only. So you can't visit your family unless they live in the same household, but those rules don't apply to Trudeau. Number 4, Trudeau's wife, Sophie, posted photos of Justin Trudeau and his family doing an outdoor Easter egg hunt together after Justin Trudeau had specifically told Canadians not to go outside and specifically to do their Easter egg hunts indoors.
You'll have to stay home. You'll have to Skype that big family dinner. And the Easter egg hunt, well, it'll have to happen around the house instead of around the neighborhood.
And finally, number 5, Justin Trudeau left his house. He went outside and he enjoyed the great outdoors, just days after telling Canadians the exact opposite, to stay inside, to not leave their homes, and to not go out into public parks this weekend. But you know what? Rules like these are for the little people. Trudeau likes to say we're all in this together, but he doesn't seem willing to follow the same set of rules that he demands that we follow. Perhaps the worst part of all of this is that everyday Canadians are getting ridiculous and exorbitant fines, frankly, for doing far less than what Justin Trudeau himself did. And equally as bad, rather than fielding tough questions from the media and having to answer for his hypocrisy, so many journalists in the mainstream media were falling over themselves to defend Justin Trudeau and to attack me, a journalist, simply for asking the wrong questions. All of these people are doing a disservice to Canada. For True North, I'm Candice Malcolm.